Hello, everyone. It's Friday again, and welcome to another episode of the Young Voices Forum. The Young Voices Forum is a program dedicated to advancing the cause of young people. Today, we are discussing an important topic: drug abuse, a menace that is destroying the lives of many young people across Ghana. The abuse of various illicit drugs such as marijuana, tramadol, and cocaine have become rampant in Ghana. Others who are not able to afford these drugs have improvised. They've been combining energy drinks and other chemicals to create their own drugs to abuse. We've been wondering what is causing young people to engage in illicit drug abuse and peddling. Well, we have in with us two young people, one of who used to peddle and abuse illicit drugs. We will try to find out what the issues are and what can be done to ensure young people stay away from drugs.
You only live once.
Hi, my name is Quinsta Nefi and I play the role of Emily in the YOLO TV series. For accurate information and support on contraception, pregnancy, and other sexual and reproductive health issues, call the Agoshi Plus toll-free line 5100 for MTN and 0800001122 for all networks. Good life, live it well. Good life, it's an everyday thing. YOLO, you only live once.
You only live once.
Welcome back. If you are now joining us, this is the Young Voices Forum, and today we are discussing drug abuse in Ghana. To help us with the discussion are Ibrahim Mohammed Awal, former drug addict, and Faiza Jute Majid, a visual storyteller who is also an advocate against drug abuse. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So it's good to have you here. You are not very easy people to find.
We are very easy people to find.
Well, I would say maybe you do not have a lot of time, but we are very grateful that you're able to join us today.
We are grateful for you having us.
Okay, so let's just dive into the discussion. Faiza, I'll start with you. So how serious is the issue of drug abuse? I mean, for people to, come out and decide to advocate strongly against drug abuse, there has to be something that is doing the push. So how serious is the issue?
I would say that it is a very dire situation. For me, I was oblivious of a lot of things when it came to the issue of drug abuse. It took having a conversation with someone who was formerly at Radio Tamale, a journalist who was formerly at Radio Tamale, Mr. Ibrahim. Currently, he is at ZA, to realize that it was a serious situation. He got me in contact with Awal, and then we went to meet a girl who was into drugs. I realized that this girl started using drugs since junior high school.
And she was probably around how old?
I think I would say maybe probably around 11 or something. Yes. And she said she was influenced by a female friend who was also into the drug thing. And I realized that if at this age, at junior high school, a girl starts using drugs and was influenced even by another girl to use the drugs, then the situation is worse, and then nobody's looking at it. And so it wasn't just her. Then it moved on to another person who was also within that vicinity. And I happened to go into the forest one time, and then I saw women into drugs. And then it sort of just made me realize that no, the situation is more than what we are seeing. It's a whole lot, because physically looking at the women I met, I can't describe it, but you just have to see what I saw, and then you realize that this situation is more than what is in our minds. So the situation is there, it's serious, it's it's not just it's it's serious. That's just it's a whole serious thing that I think that we are not looking at as a people. And then yes.
What do you think is the, the main driving force behind the rising trend of drug abuse among young people in Ghana today?
For me, I just think we have an attitudinal problem. It sort of feels like people make it seem like because a person situation should push the person to do drugs. But I for one feel that as a people, we have to change our attitudes and not make everything about the situations where we find ourselves. We should come together as a people to realize that people have been in worse situations, and then drugs shouldn't be the only solution to get out of a problem. There are other things, challenging yourself to do better, and then coming out being the best is also should be a driving force, and not looking at your situation and saying that, okay, I was born into this, I was born into poverty, I was born into a broken home, and so because of that, I should have to do drugs just to prove a point.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I get where you're coming from, because I understand that even, financing drugs, is also, a whole thing altogether. It requires resources. So maybe I would say if you have the money for drugs, then you should have the money for something more. But we will get to that. But aside the attitudinal problem, what else? Because I think you mentioned that you've met a girl who was 11 who was influenced by, another friend to start taking drugs. Would you say, peer influence plays a pivotal role?
Peer influence does, and I think that lack of parental care too also is a major problem because um, this girl, like I said, if her parents were to have noticed that, okay, my child is going this way. She wasn't like that, but now she is going this way. You have to check the people she moves around with. You have to check her friends. Is she with friends that are not influencing her positively? Are these friends influencing her negatively? What should I, as a parent, do so that my child would not end up going wayward? Someone said something to me that for him, when people always say peer influence is a driving force to people being bad, he just doesn't get it because he has moved with friends who are into drugs, who are drinking, but he never ended up, I mean, becoming influenced. So for me, I looked at it and then I was like, okay, maybe that's you. Not everybody's you. Um, People can't be influenced because some people think that their friends like them or their friends love them, and so they wouldn't necessarily influence them negatively, and so whatever they are doing is good. But the parents, you are the one that gave birth to your child. When your child is going in a wrong direction, I think if you are a parent who knows your child so well, you should notice that there are changes in your child, and you should be able to talk to the person in such a way that the person knows that, okay, my father loves me, and so because my mother and my father loves me, rather than a friend outside who didn't give birth to me influencing me negatively, or telling me something I should take, my parents would be in a better position to tell me things that, or because they love me so much and they wouldn't want me to go astray, what they tell me should be what I should take rather. So I think, yes, peer influence does a lot, but parental negligence, I think that's worst to a child.
Okay. So I'm just going to move the conversation over quickly to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, I am curious.
Yeah, don't be curious. You
So,
shouldn't be curious.
okay, so you know, paint me a picture. Tell us the story for how long were you hooked on drugs?
Well, this is a long story.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I have time.
Because you have time. Okay. Yeah, don't worry. Then let me go through that.
Yeah.
Um, it's just a long story. As I said, I've been into drugs. Maybe something like before I left. Maybe from now till the time back, it'll be 15 years now. But I stopped drug. That was like something like 2008, 2018 to 19. Yeah.
So, how old were you when you first had your first taste of drugs? How old were you?
By then I was in something like Jesus. Can't believe praise me.
Okay, and how old?
I would be something like 13, 13 years. Yeah, 13 or 12 years. So, yeah, yeah.
So, how did it happen?
Well, as Pfizer just said, something about peer pressure.
Okay.
But mine wasn't from parental issue, parental neglect. No, mine was just from like peer pressure, and then I was very curious, very very curious. I wanted to know everything that was going on in my life or whatever I see. So that made me got into drugs.
Okay. So, did you have like some friends who were already, in
Yeah.
drugs before you joined them? Did they have to, spend a lot of time convincing you, or it was so easy for you to just start?
Well, this is not about something like convincing. Drugs is not about convincing. You can't convince someone to take the drug. You understand? It's about the perception, the mindset of the person. So it was just that I used to mingle with them and my senior brothers in my area. I used to live in the central town of Tamale. So anytime I come back from school, I go to sit with them and they do take drugs, they take cigarettes, they take weed, they drink alcohol. So every time I'm from school, I go to sit with them. Maybe they send me to go and buy certain things for them. They usually send me to go and buy them cigarettes. So me going to buy them, I might also just want to see what is it that they are sending me to go and buy. So I started by cigarettes. When I go to buy, I also get, maybe they'll give me some little coins. I also buy one my and hide it somewhere. When they light theirs, I also go and light mine somewhere and come back and sit with them. So this is not about influencer. This curious. I was very curious to know what they were doing. I just wanted to know what is the taste. Is it sugar? Is it salt? Is it Maggi? So that's how I got into cigarettes. And later in life, that was like I met my friend at, he was studying a different school, but our school was the school were very close. So anytime we go out for break, we'll meet each other and then we pick bicycle to maybe Kamina side, just the Kamina area. We can be there, not knowing he also smokes weed. He didn't know anything about cigarettes.
But he was smoking weed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I was smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
So he told me about it, and then I was like, okay, I also smoke cigarettes. So why don't we just go and then get your weed, and then I'll see whether the weed is also. So he bought the weed, and then I tried it. So he didn't influence me. I just wanted to know what was it again. So I tried it and also tried the cigarette, and then we got together.
Okay.
So that's just how we started everything.
Yeah. Well, I personally, I would argue that you were indirectly, influenced, but that's also for another school of thought.
Okay.
But from cigarette to weed, did it progress, or that was just it?
Well, it's a progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a progress.
So did you move from weed to something else?
Yeah, I moved on to from weed to 2009 with BC. We went to St. Charles, and then, most of the Christians, they drink alcohol, and then so we met, and then
You added alcohol.
yeah, I added alcohol into that. But the alcohol, they started me from same school again. So I went back to B school again, business senior high. So from then, I got to understand that alcohol is not the main thing for me, but the weed and the cigarette. I continued to the extent that was 2012 when a friend came and influenced us on tramadol. He was from Accra,
Okay.
Agbogboloshi. So they already do that at that place. So as he brought it then, he was also a student at B school. So he influenced us to take it, and then took tramadol. That was 2012. And then that was all. I took one for the first time.
Okay.
Although I went through some problems, maybe body physical problems. I went through a lot by then because it was my first time. So I ended up adding up another one. So when I added another one, I got to realize that no, I'm now on myself again. So the addiction just started just like that. Back at senior high school, started just like that, weed, cigarettes, and then tramadol.
Okay.
But my friends exceeded to different drugs, but
you
I
did
just
not.
stopped at the tramadol.
Okay. So how are you financing these drugs? Like, where were you getting the money to buy them?
Well, by then I was a student and I was still a teenager, and our parents did give us money, but before even I started even taking drugs, I used to go to town to sell things for my mother.
Okay.
Or I also go to sell things on my own too. So I usually have money for myself, and I can even purchase it for someone too if you want.
Wow.
So because my whole life we've not lived a life of like living with friends that are not into drugs. See, we've lived together just like that. So my whole life I've lived with those who are into drugs or those who are out of drugs. I've lived with them. So that made me understand that what we are doing is kind of taking us back. We are not getting any progress from that. And assuming I went to maybe the best school in Northern Region, boys' school, St. Charles, and because of drug, I was being
expelled.
Yeah. So I went to Bisco, same just because of I can't get the time to even learn or just be like a normal student.
So you expelled at Bisco too, or you completed?
Well, I was expelled at Bisco 2 times, but I completed Bisco.
You completed. So like you were given, they sacked you, but you were able to write your WhatsApp. Wow.
I told you it's a long story.
Yeah, it's a long story. It is. So aside, the education, aside school, how else did it affect you? Did it, draw a wedge between you and your parents? Did it, bring about?
A lot.
So aside the school, what else did it do? How did it affect you?
Well, it came to a time that I didn't have talking terms with my family because my family, they were looking at themselves. They are from they are good people in the society.
Yeah, they've done everything right
a
for
lot,
you.
Yeah. So they were looking at what's in my mind, and I'm into that.
Did right.
But they didn't also understand that I got into that when I was young.
Okay.
You see, you getting into drugs at the teenage age has a high lot of risks, high risks. No matter what, you end up regretting. But if a person is about like maybe 18, 20, maybe by then the person has started working or something or finding something good for himself. And when he gets into drugs, he might be able to cope a little. He might be able to cope a little. But you being a teenager and getting into that, sometimes someone can even see you and to be like, you are not from a home.
Yeah.
You are just a street guy, or you've never even sat in front of parents to even advise you. So that's the kind of perception we have on the street, or that's what we are going through on the street. Yeah, every drug addict, someone into weed, tramadol, cocaine. We all go through same situation.
Okay.
Yeah, because we feel there is a lot of stigma. We go through a lot of stigma. Assuming currently I'm not into drugs,
Yeah.
but those who knew me
From back then.
yeah, I still get stigma from them. I've never stolen anyone in my life. I've never taken it to one died. So, but I can be working sometimes. People will feel like this guy has ever been a thief before just because they ever
Yeah,
smoked.
because
Yeah,
wow.
and you know, I'm a grown up
Yeah.
now, so I should have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
But me being into drugs, I can't get a good, normal, moral girl that I want.
That would, wow.
Yeah,
That's,
so that's the kind of life we are going through.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
we are going through
affected you.
troubles, trauma, and a lot of
Things.
stigma on the road. Yeah.
Oh.
So I realized that the life I'm living wasn't
Yeah.
taking me, because my colleagues were now progressing,
Yeah, and you weren't.
and I passed very well in SS, but because of drug, being into the drug life, it has made me like I got to realize that school is not the right thing, best thing for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went to tertiary almost 2 times. So I went to Tripoli 2013, 2014, 15. I went back to Accra, and it wasn't any problem. Yeah, just because maybe I'm into drugs. So always I have we call it PTSD, post-traumatic syndrome disorder. So sometimes when you're about to think right, the negative also comes. So when you don't have a great fit, you can't be with the positive side. You always be at the negative side. Because the negative part is within drug. When you are into drug, you always feel the negative parties. Because those on the legal parts, they neglect you. They feel like when you come close to them, you can give them problem. So always you feel like being at the negative part, and no one can take you out of that.
Wow. All right. So we are going for a quick break. When we come back, the conversation continues.
Get up! Joining it once.
Hi, my name is Kwestanifi and I play the role of Emily in the YOLO TV series. For accurate information and support on contraception, pregnancy, and other sexual and reproductive health issues, call the Agoshi Plus toll-free line 5100 for MTN and 0800001122 for all networks. Good life, live it well. Good life, it's an everyday thing. YOLO, you only live once.
Get up! Joining it once.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is the Young Voices Forum, and today we are discussing drug abuse. It's a bit heavy in here, but these are stories that we have to tell. So, at what point, Rhyme, like at what point did you decide that, you know what, I am not doing this again? What happened? Like, what happened to, what happened, and then you tilted towards not abusing drugs anymore?
It not happening, as I said, it was happening. I got to realize that drug made me to feel like I'm a dropout. And the most final part is that 2018, had some money, a huge amount of money there. That was something like 30,000 that my friend gave to me. And it was mine, it wasn't for my friend. But he just went and brought it to me. He told me that so this time the money have come, so what are we going to do? So I made my mind that I have to call all my friends so that we can go out and then have fun. And you know, we having fun. We are already drug addicts, so we are going in for the drugs. So we end up buying a lot of drugs. So I took a lot of drug on that day. That's something like tramadol, Rafino, and then we call something diazepam D10. Yeah. So I wasn't taking diazepam. The only thing I took was codeine, Rafino, and then tramadol. So my friend, he just came and told me that, oh, he has something for me. I should take this. And so I also said, oh, then it's a nice thing. Let me have it. I have it and I gave him money. Because sometimes when someone gives you drug, you feel like it's even wealthy than everything. So I just took the diazepam and they called me to come to Tipoli, my school, to come in for we're going for national service. So they said I should come for my national service paper or something. So I told them that I'm coming. They should just give me 5 minutes. So I took my ride. From then, I didn't know where I had my accident till date. I don't know. And I just woke up on this sick bed. It was like 3 days. I went into like coma for 3 days, and then so as I woke up, I was mentally ill sometimes. Yeah. So, but I was still taking the drugs. Yeah, as I got back. Yeah, after I woke up, because if I don't take the drug, maybe I might lose my life or something. Because we weren't eating that much. Everything was drug. So my system was full of drugs. So even if I wake up without taking that drug, I can't even pick a rubber or sweep my room. Yeah. So I realized that this thing was going out of hand. It was going insane. So I explained that to my uncle. I just told him, this is what I do, this is what I do. I take this kind of drug and this kind of that. So that caused my accident. So I want them to help me so that I can take myself out of this drug issue. So they thought like I was kidding them or I wanted to get some money out of them. So they weren't doing anything. Then I said, I have to help myself because they are not helping me now. So I end up going to, there was a pharmacy at my area there. So I went and explained everything to the pharmacy. And they said I should wait and the boss would come, their boss. So I explained everything to him and then he told me that my case is serious. There should have been a rehab center, but there is no rehab center in Tamale here, if not Bolga. So what we have to do is he'll take me to TTH so that they'll check me up and then see whatever they can. So as we went, they checked everything and they told me how my system is and whatever they said I was likely to maybe die in 2 years' time or something. That was what they told me. So, and I didn't also want to die. Yeah, because I still want to live long and then talk a lot of life too. So I told the doctor that I have money. So how much will I pay and they treat me? So he said they have to take off my blood or something that they dehydrate me and then so I just gave them time and they did everything. But it wasn't easy for me just stepping out of the drug just like that because even though they dehydrated me and changed a lot of things for me, but anytime I sit alone, I feel like taking drugs. And I was going through like, if I just eat food without taking drug, I'll begin to vomit, although they've treated me and everything. So they told me that I have to just take maybe 3 months and then maybe I'll take maybe 1 tramadol. I was taking 120, they brought it back to 15 milligrams. So from that 15 milligrams, taking one a day, doctor prescription. One a day I can eat, I can do everything. So it just came to a time that I didn't take the 15 milligram a full day, and then I didn't feel any hectic on myself. So I decided that I'm not feeling anything today. So the next day, I said I was a footballer by then. I was part of the GLO Academy team in Ghana. Yeah. So I said, let me go back to my usual sports activity. So I just started that and I overcome just this tramadol issue. But I was still smoking the weed. I neglected cigarettes because I can't just stop all at the same time. If not, I'll lose my life. That's what they said. So I was trying to take everything one after one after. So it came to a time that I wasn't taking tramadol anymore. I was just smoking weed. So the weed addiction wasn't that too much. So I finally talked to the doctor and told him that maybe if they could inject me so that maybe when I hear the scent, and told me that then that can't even just let me stop it. So I should just try my own self, like how I've tried. So I just tried my own. I would try to mingle with those who are smoking, those into a bar. I can just force myself, like I wouldn't let that curiosity or influence. So I tried that for a month, and I was with them every day. We go to play ball, we do everything together. I wasn't taking drugs anymore, and I realized that this was the time I'm not getting back to myself. So I have to get something to focus, so that that wouldn't get me back in. So I made my mind that okay, then let me help my colleagues and the little young ones in the course. I'm a big influence in Tamale here, big influence. So I decided that okay, I have a boss. He usually texts me online, Facebook, and was telling just the same person that Pfizer mentioned, Mr. Ibrahim. Yes.
Okay.
So he was telling me to,
Yeah, I know him. Wonderful
I
man.
have to just keep up, because he knew me for a long time to be very passionate in sports, and so he wants me to. So one day he told me that why don't I organize something for my area so that I will be able to help the little ones that are getting into drugs and then or that are getting the influence or want to get influence. So I was looking at this just going to be another work for me. But he told me that work would enhance me a lot to just keep myself out of the drug. So I said, okay, let's start it. And then he said something like You Drug Exists. We started something like that, You Drug Exists online. We're campaigning and advocating about drugs. So I can get a lot of guys who are into drugs, but that they don't have money to even get off the drug. So I'll call Mr. Ibrahim to come, we'll talk to them, and sometimes we get them even same drugs to take, but and get them food too. But we make sure we tell them that they can be minimizing it. We can get together and then be friends. So we started that, and then we realized that we're making impacts. So he said, okay, people are now joining me to my area. People are telling me to come and talk to their kids. And so he said, why don't we do it youth without drugs so that everyone can participate? So through this organization, Youth Without Drugs, it has enabled me a lot to step out of drugs. Even I can just, when I get home, I can be with those who take drugs, who smoke and everything. We can sit and laugh and do anything, but
You will not take the drug.
there is nothing that can let me take it today because I've been into it almost half of my age. And me not being into it at this time, when I look at myself, I'm not comparing. I'm good. I'm very good than my previous me. Yes. So that made me just understand. Then they said, drug is not life. I just have to leave myself out and then help others to also live. So I mostly I organize marches and then youth, community labor. We do a lot of things just to make sure we have sensitization of drugs in my community. Yeah, and mostly online too. We work online with others, and some NGOs also do come around with the help of Pfizer.
So ever since you quit, has there ever been a point where you relapsed? Like, have you, since you decided that, like, you went maybe let's say a month without taking weed, cigarette, or tramadol, has there ever been like another month or somewhere in between where you relapsed and probably just took one? Or since you quit, never?
Since I quit, I don't even have the zeal to even, yeah. Mine is just when I'm with them, I just feel like we are just seated, and it's just like they are eating food that I don't eat.
Okay.
That's what I feel.
It's like eating food that you don't eat. That's powerful. So, Pfizer, um, as an advocate against drug abuse, what motivated you to take up the course?
I think um, it just began with my passion, the area I am passionate about, which is women and children, adolescent young girls, women, children, issues around surrounding them. And the mere fact that I wouldn't want to mention her name, the lady I was talking about, I'll just call her Mama. Just seeing her and the kind of pain she was going through, because that day when Awal took me to her, she she was overdosed, but I was determined to have a conversation with her. And so through the conversation, what we talked about, she had gone to senior high school. Even she said her friend who introduced her or who influenced her into the drugs dropped out. She didn't finish junior high school, but she managed to get to senior high school. And in her year one, she also dropped out of senior high school. Today, till date, she's not back to school yet. And it's because of the drugs. And so she told me that she wants to go back to school. She wants to quit the drug before going back to school. But it's quite challenging for her because I won't even tried to get her out of it. We sat and then he tried. I will put in a lot of work, but I think at the end she was withdrawing from what I was said, but she still went back to it. Yes. So I just feel like that was a motivation for me because I'm 24 and I think she said she was 21, I think almost 22. And so I am 2 years older than her. And I am currently pursuing my master's at school. And I just feel like if I am here, why should she be there? Yes. So it was enough motivation for me. Just her story, it was that day sitting down with her, I'm really most of the time an emotional person. So seeing things like that, it just makes me feel like, okay, there's a lot of things we need to do. And I'm with a group called the Girls Advisory Council. And so I spoke to them and I said, okay, what do you think we do, like things around drugs? Awal has his group too that he's putting a lot of efforts into trying to get people out of it. We spoke with a few girls and then we tried to advocate. We tried to talk to them about drug. And for me to, like I said, what I saw in the forest, I wouldn't want to mention the forest name, but what I saw the day I was taken into the forest, the number of girls that are in the forest that are taking drugs, I think a lot of organizations, NGOs, for instance, don't see it. A lot of people, I think, a lot of NGOs are just into women and children, empowering women and children. But issues like this, I just feel like they are just advocating, but there's no specific NGO, correct? Like, excuse me if I'm wrong, but there's no specific NGO that is saying that, okay, specifically we want to target drug, issues on drugs. So I think that with the stories that I hear in communities and with things that I see, because for me, I like a lot of visual storytelling. I'm trying, or I'm getting to the point where I want to go into photographic journalism. And even with the pictures I have gotten, if I want to tell a whole picture or a whole story with the visual that I have, I can't put it on social media because it will be like you are going to
Ask people.
yes, and you are going to let people see what other people are going through. You can't post what I have without showing the person's face, because the visual, like the physical body or stage, or you are just going to, their eyes like black, darkened. The women I saw it was just too much. Honestly, it was too much. You see someone lips so dark, eyes so blackish, and it's just all stemming. There was a woman who even said she was a mother and she was sitting down smoking weed in the forest. And she said her child should be 8 years old, but she is a mother in the forest smoking. What do you teach the child that you have given birth to? So these things, I just think, all came together to contribute, to serve as like a motivation for me to pursue this thing. I can't do anything. Like, all I can just do is talk, tell the stories, and at least in
That's
my own
something.
little way,
That's
just
something.
try to encourage talk, and then let girls know that they are not alone. They have people, and they have young people like themselves who have made it in life, and drug shouldn't be the only resource that they have. Yes, so I think that's it.
Okay. So, just tell us a little about your work in, raising awareness and preventing drug abuse among the youth. Yeah.
Yes, so like I said, I'm a youth activist as well. I have been volunteered with organizations a lot, and also like the youth group Activista. I think I have done a couple of things with Activista. The Girls Advisory Council, I would say too as well, has been a youth group that is focusing. It's a girls-led youth group that is just focusing on how we can solve issues and policies around young girls and women, and how we can get key stakeholders to look at these issues that young girls and women are facing. And so for me, we have done a lot, quite a lot, as we were awarded some monies to do a project that was last year, I think so, by the Path Youth Consortium team. And so we did a couple of things around gender and sexual and gender-based violence, and then we fused in a bit of these girls into drugs thing, and then we tried to see how we can get people to look at issues surrounding that. Also, my visual storytelling thing, I have done works around women with disabilities. I have done things around this menstrual hygiene thing for girls, and also looking at the drug abuse thing. I'm trying as much as possible to get someone who believes in me and who would push also NGOs, organizations who are ready to probably help Owl, because right now I think he is the person that who is looking at this thing around drugs and trying to at least get a lot of organizations. Like I said, a lot of organizations are not into it, but I think if they are really key or interested in issues around women and girls, like they say, I think working with our and the team would not be a bad idea.
So, Ibrahim, your final words before we go.
I'm just taking this advice out to the youths out there, and then our parents out there, and then the leaders, our community leaders out there, the chiefs, the authorities, because drugs is now coming to be something like it's now rampant in the streets. Drug is now something like it's now coming to be like a normal food on the street, which shouldn't be. And we are begging and talking to NGOs to step in to help the youths who are into drugs, especially the ladies, the young ladies who are into drugs, because they are the mothers. They are those that can help secure the youth at home. Without the mothers, we can't do anything good. So we are calling on the NGOs to come out to help the young ladies and young girls who are into this drug shit, because this drugs is letting them back. It doesn't give them the great future they need. And the advice we are giving to the authority, the leaders, they should make sure as they are coming out to fight this drugs, they should fight it with good legacy. They shouldn't come out to fight it to the extent that they themselves will fight it and use it again. Because mostly people coming out to fight for drugs might be for some reasons of their own, but not for the benefit of the community. So we are urging the authority, the leaders, they should speak with passion and advise the youths to make sure they step out of the drug activities, and mostly to the SS schools, the students. The school should make sure they get enough sensitization of drugs. They should make sure they have some courses, or let me say some counseling about drug each and every week of the school days. They should make sure they advise them very, very well about this drug issue, because students at senior high level are very, very easy to get addicted to drugs. So we are urging the authorities to make sure they work out, to make sure they wipe this drug issue out, especially to the immigrations. Those are the borders. We are telling them to make sure they also work hard, because those drugs are coming out from. They are coming somewhere, it's not from Ghana here. So the borders should work hard. Our SS teachers should make sure they advocate a lot on this drug sensitization to bring up good education for the kids. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ibrahim. Liza, your final words.
For me, my final words would go to parents. Even in school, at the university, I have the hostel I stay at on campus. I have some guys next to my room who are into drugs. They are in the university and they are into drugs. Sometimes, because I'm close to them, you see one of them call their sister and it's like, I want money for this and things like that. And they get their money, but then at the end of the day, they use it for drugs. I think parents do not are not aware or do not take into consideration that you have to sit with your child, get to know your child. When your child is going in a wrong direction, you have to notice that the child is going in a wrong direction. When you have a mother-father relationship, or a mother-son relationship, or a father-daughter relationship with your child, you get to know that whatever is bothering the child comes to tell you about it, and you as a parent too would be able to sit and then advise the child. So I think for me, this will go out to our parents. Our parents should take notice, keen notice of their children, and should be able to have relationships with their children in the sense that whenever something is bothering their children, whenever the child is going wayward, the child can have the confidence to come and sit with you and then talk about it. And you as a parent will not judge the child, but also talk to the child and then let the child understand that in the way that he or she is going is bad. So for me, my words will go out to the parents, also our stakeholders, our organizations, our NGO organizations. Please and please and please, the drug issue is very serious among the young girls and young women. It's not just only the girls. Like I said, the women in the forest were mothers. They had children, kids with them. Please and please and please, in as much as we are talking about women empowerment, feminists, this and that, we have girls in the forest, in their houses, in their homes, who are into drugs and who need your support so that this can end. So yes, these are my final words. Thank you.
Thank you, Faiza. If you've stayed up till this point, this is the end of today's episode, and it was brought to you. It was made possible through the support of the USAID ASBC activity. And also, this is a reminder that our She Plus helpline is available 6 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That is Monday to Saturday. So you can call us on 0800 001122. You can you'll be put in touch with a health worker if you need a psychologist. If you have any questions about your reproductive health and rights, we are always available to answer all of your questions. So also a very big thank you to the technical team. Without them, there'll be no Young Voices Forum. So Kwabna, Amin, Paul, thank you very much for working tirelessly behind the scene and ensuring that this Young Voices Forum comes every Friday. And also to our executive producer, Emefetel Ella, thank you very much for always supporting in the background. So until we come your way same time next week, my name is Rahel Erabna Enchi, and bye-bye.
Get up! You only live once.
Hi, my name is Quinstanifi and I play the role of Emily in the YOLO TV series. For accurate information and support on contraception, pregnancy, and other sexual and reproductive health issues, call the Agoshi Plus toll-free line 5100 for MTN and 0800001122 for all networks. Good life, live it well. Good life, it's an everyday thing. YOLO, you only live once.
Get up! You only live once.